Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. Now I often get asked if I had 5 cars to choose from my 5-car garage, what would they be? And I've always put a Bentley blower in there. I don't know what it is about those cars, I'm just fascinated by them. Well, today I'm going to find out a lot more because I'm here at Vintage Bentley, which isn't actually that far away from where I live, to explore all things Vintage Bentley. I mean, this beautiful car in front of me, for example, this car was doing over 143 miles an hour on the Brooklyn circuit back in period. Terrifying to look at. But I also want to explore how these cars are kept on the road, but even more importantly, how a long-term sustainable plan using synthetic fuels to keep these cars racing. So lots to unpack and lots to explore. So let me show you around Vintage Bentley. Now then guys, I've been joined by the owner of Vintage Bentley, Mr. William Metcalf. Oh. Well, welcome to the channel, my friend. Yeah. Now we met at the Goodwood Media Day on a video that I didn't actually show on the channel, but you took me around Goodwood in a Vintage Bentley and it blew my mind.
Well, that's what we like.
It really did. I mean, it's such an old car, but the performance is almost modern day in many respects, and certainly in terms of speed and so on. So we're here at this incredible place, and I said it's 20 miles from, not even 20 miles, 10 miles from my house. I had no idea you were here. I had no idea the depth of the stuff that you do here. So I thought we'd start the video by just talking about some cool old Bentleys. And I wanted to start with this one, because I mentioned it in my intro that this was doing north of 140 miles an hour back in period. Tell us a bit about this car, because the thought of doing that is terrifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? You know, health and safety's got in the way today. But this is a giant from the era. This actually held the outright record at Brooklands.
Right.
So this held the outright record. It still holds the Class B record, and it's technically the second fastest car ever around Brooklands. So its fastest ever lap was 143.6 miles an hour across the line, and that's an average lap. So down the straights, it's over 150 miles an hour.
So that was an average speed, 105. Oh my God, okay. With no seatbelts, no doors,
none of
that rubbish.
You don't need any of that, it just slows you down. So 8 litre, it's all Bentley. A chap called Wolf Bonato, who you might be familiar with, but he bankrolled Bentley Motors. He was the chairman of Bentley Motors. And he wanted the bragging rights of Brooklands. He wanted the outright lap record, which he achieved. So his number one mechanic was Wally Hassan. So that's why it's called the Bonato Hassan, because of the two men. And it's all Bentley, 8 litres, and you have this lovely snorkel that sits out the front of the car. Yeah. And at 140 miles an hour, the air pressure going in the front is an atmospheric supercharger. So you're blowing on the 3 carburetors, you're blowing on the carburetors, and when you get the pressure right, the thing goes like a rocket. So it's atmospherically supercharged. Wow. Now, we're going to have a quick look at some special cars. I thought we'd start with this one. But first off, before we do that, your background in Bentley, you were telling me, this is the most amazing introduction to the world of Bentley. Your dad basically is a complete hero. Yeah, he's absolutely my hero. He rebuilt a vintage Bentley on the kitchen table. He was a toolmaker. He found an old Bentley, he was just tickled with it, so he brought it home. He soldered the radiator up in the living room and burnt a hole in the carpet. Mother was not impressed.
I can imagine.
But when the car was done, we needed to test the car, and so the obvious thing to do was to take it to America with 3 kids in the back and do 28,000 miles in 9 months, because that's a proper test. So a normal test
would be you drive up and down the nearest B road a few times. It's unbelievable. What an adventure as a kid. Yeah, How old were you when that?
So I was only 5.
So, we honestly could do a video that's like 4 hours long just of some of the super cars you got here in this showroom. That one over there is pretty special as well, from what you're saying.
One of the original super sports. So in 1925, Mr. Bentley gave a written guarantee that those cars would do 100 miles an hour. So arguably it's the first supercar in history. You can walk in the showroom, buy a car to 100 miles an hour. So there's only 18 built, shortest Bentley ever made with a 9-foot wheelbase. Green label, mega car.
So we're saying that, like 100 miles an hour today on a lovely tarmac road it's quick, right? It's illegal for a start. What are you doing 100 miles an hour on in one of those back in the day? A farm track?
Bit of cinders and everything else. But I mean, today when we run these cars, we test these cars. We ran the M25. we're moving people out of the way because we need to come through. So.
Amazing, amazing. So now we're going to go upstairs because there's a car I want to show you upstairs. But the main reason for coming here is it's members meeting this coming weekend. And you are taking 3 of your cars to members meeting and running them on synthetic fuel. And it's such an interesting subject and we want to cover that. But before we do that, I need to show you a car that's upstairs. Now then, tell me about this beautiful car and this amazing luggage space.
So first of all, you need to understand that every vintage Bentley was built as a rolling chassis.
Yeah.
So chassis and engine tested, there it was. Then it was sent to your coach builder, who was a bit like your tailor.
Yeah.
And whatever your needs were, you had a large family, you had dogs, whatever you wanted to do, they would design the coachwork around your lifestyle, what you wanted. So this one, clearly a bachelor's extravaganza. This is a shooting car.
Yeah.
So on the back, obviously, what you need is somewhere to wash your hands. So
You've got a tap and everything.
a butler would warm the water in the morning. You can wash your hands. You can then put your pair of Purdies away, so your shotguns go in there. And then, of course, after a good day shooting, you need a drink with your mates. So
It's just, I know you can spec this on modern day cars, Cullinans and those type of things, but to see that's just so cool.
this has all been done, back in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
This is all original. This is how it left the factory.
And then over there we've got a vehicle, you were saying that was spec for a guy so he could sit in the back with his top hat on.
That's it. That's a top hat saloon. So very tall, lots of glass. He wanted to see out, so it's a 6 light saloon, so 6 windows, 3 down each side. And he wanted to get in and out wearing his top hat. So completely different thing. This guy later on could remove this body and put a big saloon body on if he was lucky enough to have kids or whatever. So
now I came here thinking that the blower would be my favourite, but I have to say that's very cool.
this is hell of a lot of fun at the weekend.
That's a lot of fun at the weekend. Now then, let's go and chat blower, but yeah, I need one of those in my life. Very cool. This is more like it. This is a Bentley blower. I'm sure many of you know what one is, but and this is actually owned by a guy I know, a guy called Martin, who, if you've been subscribing to the channel for a while, Martin is the guy who took me around the rally course at Festival Speed in a Metro 6R4. And I've also actually followed him at members meeting on a race with this very car. Can you tell us a little bit about not just the blower, but the other vintage race cars you got here? Because it's a hive of activity in this workshop.
Yeah.
Is there a race coming up by any chance?
Well, 2 days before race day, it all gets going, doesn't it? Which is lovely.
I mean, how many are you working on in here at the moment?
We've got 12 bays.
Yeah.
And they're all full, and we're all getting ready to go racing. So we've actually got 2 races going on, 2 different race meetings going on this weekend. So we're fielding something like 8 cars.
Wow. Now, one of the things that amazed me, and I guess it's obvious when you think about it, but if you need a spare part for one of these, you don't just ring up Bentley and say, can I have a spare part? Because you're saying Bentley pretty much from the mid-30s onwards.
Yeah. All gone.
Gone.
Nothing.
So you make everything.
We make everything.
Which is amazing. I mean, the workshops, they've got milling machines and lathes and computer measurement machines and test beds. You make everything, which is just, it's honestly, if you like your engineering, if you love your cars, this is like the ultimate playground. It's amazing.
Almost 25 years of pulling together the complete library of drawings and then actually testing that, the limits and fits of each child part in a series to make sure that they all fit together. So all the sub-assemblies will fit together.
Wow. So tell us a bit about these. So there's the normal one over there and the blower.
Yep.
Everyone says blower, but they're different, right?
Yeah, totally.
For the obvious reason, that big thing sticking out the front.
Yeah. So the public love a Spitfire.
Yeah.
And won the Second World War single-handedly, but obviously the Hurricane did the lion's share of the work. But we love them both dearly. And you think of Spitfires, you think of blower Bentleys. It wasn't designed and built by Mr. Bentley. It was done outside of the works. 52 cars. Tim Birkin put an order in 50 odd cars, took them away and supercharged and made them go. So it was done outside of Cricklewood.
Yeah.
But it's what the public imagination. It captured the public imagination, and this is what we all love. This is why you're here.
And this, you're saying, is one of the faster ones?
This is one of the faster ones, yeah. So this clocks 127 miles an hour genuine through the speed trap on the Mulsanne Straight.
Wow.
That's Martin.
Yeah, Martin's. We'll meet Martin at the weekend. He's it's very special.
It's very special.
In the most lovable possible way. So the reason I want to talk about is what's in that can, because if you think about sustainability, these cars have kind of done their carbon footprint and stuff many moons ago, and they're now, the fact that you're keeping them on the road, you're manufacturing parts, I think that's just sustainability-wise, amazing story anyway.
Yeah, totally. So we've been through the electrification of these. And it's totally doable. It's all there. We found a partner to do it, and that is all doable, and that's lovely. And then we suddenly got hold of this synthetic stuff, and we've been having a little play. Excuse me. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a real game changer. It's completely man-made. So the dinosaurs stay on the ground. This stuff is...
So talk to us a bit about the fuel, and then a little bit about what you need to do to the cars, if anything, to get them to run on that.
So biomass, they take the waste product from the farming industry, make an ethanol, then they crack water, take the hydrogen out, and then carbon capture from the atmosphere, bang it all together, get rid of the ethanol because we don't want that, and you've got yourself petrol, so it's completely man-made.
Wow. Okay. Octane rating equivalent?
What would you like? You can have 80, 98, you can have 101, you can have 105, so you can have what you want.
Wow.
And then we put this stuff in one of these, we've had it on the rolling road, and on power runs, it's identical. It's literally identical.
Now, I made a schoolboy error because I said, well, what about, surely these used to run on leaded fuel, and every day's a school day.
So they didn't have lead in fuel. They only added it in when the car industry really got going.
Yeah.
So the early stuff, there was no lead in the fuel anyway.
Yeah.
So we're not so worried about that.
Yeah.
Now the fact that the ethanol, with this stuff, the ethanol's gone because that's attacking the lead, that's breaking down the solder in the fuel tanks and things. So it's nice to get rid of the ethanol. But the fact that you can take this, just put it in the fuel tank, make no adjustments to the car whatsoever, no adjustments, and go race on it.
Yeah.
Happy days.
So the 3 Bentleys we're going to be watching racing at Goodwood at the weekend are all running on this completely synthetic fuel. Yeah. It doesn't compete with the human food chain. So if you remember my Dakar video when I was with Audi at the Dakar and their car was running on an equivalent type of fuel. And for me, I think it's just a really exciting thing to explore. It's part of that mix. Yeah. There's electric, there's hydrogen, there's synthetic fuels. And I just think it's really exciting. And when we met at the media day and you mentioned that, I went, I'd love to come and just find out a little bit more. I assumed you'd have to do unbelievably complex things to the engine to get it to drink that stuff, and you don't have to do anything.
To date, all the testing we've done, and we've done hot laps, we've really put some miles into this. We've got some fantastic little bottles where we're testing this stuff against gaskets and fibre washers and copper washers and anything that we can do to prove it. We've obviously got all the data sheets from the company, and it's so far it's all making sense. What I can't do is do 20 years.
Yeah.
So no one can do that. But today, it's all there, and it's our investment as an industry. We need an answer. We all believe in the planet. We want the planet. We love it, and it's our home. It's all we've got. And this is looking like a real answer to the whole motorsport industry.
Yeah. Now, I guess one of the things people at home are going to be watching going, but how much does it cost?
It's an investment in the planet.
It's an expensive, if you compare it to existing pump fuel, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But when I was at FOS last year running that NASCAR, we ran race fuel in that, and that was horrifically expensive.
Yeah.
So, and when you're looking at, I don't know how much one of these would use that. I think, by the way, if you want to come here and be a customer, you need to start at about 200 grand, you were saying.
Yeah.
That kind of mark.
You're in?
Yeah. If Martin wanted to sell me this, it would be a little bit more.
It'd be a little bit more. It's got a lot of history, this car. It's a very, very famous blower. We're very, very precious of it.
Yeah. But they're expensive cars. So how much was that per litre?
So this product we're using, it's green from end to end in manufacture.
Yeah.
So there's no carbon produced in manufacturing it, which is great. That's why we've gone with this fuel.
Yeah.
And obviously it produces no new carbon. So this is €6 a litre, which sounds steep. But this, what they need is the demand, because that price can come right down.
Yeah, it's scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to get all motor racing, for me, this is the future of Formula One. Formula E is great, Extreme E is great, but Formula One running on synthetic fuels, that's the future for Le Mans cars, and surely
everything. And the FIA World Rally Championship is already running on this fuel.
Yeah.
So this isn't out of someone's shed.
Yeah.
They're actually running the kart championship and the World Rally Championship, already running this fuel, and now Vintage Bentleys.
Yeah. So next up, we will magically whisk forward a couple of days to the members' meeting, and we'll see you in the paddock and see how we get on.
There we go.
Yeah.
See you there.
Anything left to do on this, or is it pretty much this is pretty much
Put
done?
some numbers on it, and away we go.
We'll see you at Goodwood. Now then, we are now at Goodwood, and this is my mate Martin. Welcome back to the channel, mate.
Lovely to see you as always.
That's not what you said before I turned the camera on.
No, I'm not allowed to use that sort of language apparently.
No. So qualifying was yesterday.
Yep.
Qualified all right.
Not bad.
It's a strong field though, right?
It's a really strong field. It's anything up to 1938, so you've got sort of Alfa Romeos, twin cam, Ferraris, God knows what else.
Yeah.
And this thing's 2 tons of British beef, as they say.
2 tons of stunningness.
Exactly, yes. So no, we're doing all right.
So
okay.
if you're in the top half, you'll be happy.
Yeah, if I'm midfield, I'll be very happy. That's sort of a good place for it. As you can see, the cars are already lining up.
Yeah.
They're the sort of Alfa Romeos and things. And then on this side, you've got the old slow coaches.
Well, good luck, my friend.
Thank you.
We shall be following you, cheering
Nice
you
to
on
see
from the
you
pit wall.
Take it easy.
Take care, have a good one.
Thank you.
So that's Martin, and then the other car's over here, Williams somewhere, but there's Williams' car. Well, there's one of them anyway. So yeah, we're in the assembly area. The cars are just coming in. It's a really mixed bag field. There's a big age range difference. It's called the Nuvelari Cup, I think, the race is. There's some stunning motors here. So let me wander you around a little bit, and then we'll just follow the race from the pit lane, hopefully, and see how the guys get on. But super exciting now, race day has finally come. To take a final walk around Martin's car. It really is a beautiful thing. The R100 on the bonnet, by the way, that is denoting the fuel that these cars are running on, the synthetic fuel. But it's just so cool. I love the Union flag on the door, the kind of weathered patinaed look to the number on the roundel, and then you look on the inside and just check that out for a dash. It's a stunning thing. Absolutely love this car. Wooden floorboards down there in the footwell. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So yes, to see these thundering around Goodwood, it's going to be quite a special sight. And then we just wander down. We got Williams' car just parked down here, so this is the second of the 3 Bentleys. Beautiful car, roundel number 9. And then wander quite a long way down here just to give you an idea of some of the cars. All the drivers are now talking to the mechanics, talking to each other, catching up, making sure they're all signed on with the stewards and ready to go. Absolutely stunning. And this is the last of the vintage Bentleys down here. Beautiful car, number 7. Very cool. Again, this, you just wander around this way and show you on the door, inner door card. I just absolutely love that. So, qualifying was yesterday.
Right.
How'd you go on?
Yeah, good. Wobbled around. Didn't touch the sides, so all right.
Stayed on the dark stuff, stayed off the green stuff.
Yeah, all good.
So what's your, how was the car performance wise, fuel wise, all good?
Absolutely. I mean, all 3 cars, Martin's raced these for decades, and you can't tell any difference. There's no difference.
That's all you want, right?
That's it.
So what's your aspirations for the race? I was just talking to Martin about that there's some very fast cars comparatively in here, and
it's a very broad spread. You've got some practically Grand Prix cars up front. For us, really, our giggle is the 3 Bentleys.
Yeah.
So Martin's got 100 horsepower over me.
100?
Yeah, he's got 100 extra horsepower.
Wow.
So it's just with this normally aspirated 4.5 litre Bentley can keep up with him.
So what's the, for this class or this particular race, what's the qualification in terms of?
They curate it very cleverly and carefully to represent the entire sort of pre-world scene, and it's different from revival to members meeting and different year on year.
Yeah.
So some years we get a bit of a good stick and we might have a Bentley race, which is fantastic, which we've done. Or this year we're suffering a bit. It's a bit more modern than we are. So we're the oldest cars here.
So you're the best looking.
Oh, thank you.
Well, best of luck. I'm going to follow you from the pits.
Cool.
And I'll come and try and grab you afterwards.
Good man.
Laurel wreath would be good.
Well, so if he'll run out of petrol and the synthetic fuel works,
exactly,
we'll be first.
Good luck though.
Cool.
Right, so yes, it's very nearly start time. What we got, not very long till we start at all, but yeah, should be good. Let's go and follow this from the pit lane. It's a 20-minute race. We've got about 8.5 minutes left. The guys are running mid to back end of the field. That's as expected. As we said, this class of car, there's lots and lots of much faster cars. They're all still in it, all still doing really, really well. But to watch these old vintage cars being driven at such pace around Goodwood is phenomenal. It really, really is. And to do it from inside the pits is very cool. Yeah, just about 8 minutes left. So the race is over and the boys are coming back. Just coming back in. He's going to be backing in there. So great to see them coming back. In fact, he's going to come in here. Make sure I don't get run over. Martin. How was that, dude?
No oil pressure.
Oh no.
I had 0 oil pressure on the corners.
Oh no.
And it's like that horrible, please come up, and eventually it sort of nudges up to 5. It should run at 60.
Yeah.
And then you floor in. I was hoping for the flag, to be honest, before it put a rod out the side.
When you go down the straight and you got your hand inside, what are you doing in there?
Changing gear. Gear levers in here.
Oh, okay.
And the pedals are all the wrong way round, as you know. So, but yeah, it sounds okay still. So I don't think I've run a bearing, fortunately.
Yeah. Good,
But,
good race then.
There you go. Thank you.
Here we go. Now then, chaps, how was that?
Epic. All good. Fantastic.
Come in as well.
Come on, John.
The 3 guys. So good race. Fuel went well. Cars went well.
I can honestly say I couldn't feel the difference between that fuel and normal petrol, and that's an honest opinion. So that's a good sign. Really good.
This
sign.
is the future of motor racing.
Absolutely. If we can run these cars on carbon neutral petrols, you know, it kind of begs the question about electric power in the future, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a place for everything, but the infrastructure's there for synthetic fuel. We've got petrol stations and petrol tankers and taxation systems. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's just use it.
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute honour to follow you guys on your journey over the last few days. I've learned lots about Bentleys.
Thank you. To be fair, you needed to learn quite a lot.
It's harsh of me anyway, guys. I hope you enjoyed that.
Cool.
Guys, well done.
Awesome.
Awesome. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that behind the scenes view of members meeting with the Vintage Bentley boys. Absolutely mega couple of days. Congratulations to them, but that is for me the future of motorsport. Synthetic fuels, you're powering 100-year-old cars. Absolutely amazing. But if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come from the 80th members meeting at the Goodwood Motor Circuit. I'll see you on the next film, guys. You take care. Drive safe.